At Mississippi State. He is the chairman of the College Football Playoff Board of Managers, and that particular board received the formal proposal from another board that we'll get into in just a second, but also Dr. Keenum in Omaha getting ready for a College World Series game with Mississippi State and Virginia that begins in a little less than 2 hours. Dr. Keenum, we always appreciate your time. This is a busy day for you, to say the least.
Well, Richard, it has been a busy day, but it's been a very productive day, and I've enjoyed it. I began my morning in Dallas, Texas, with my colleagues on the College Football Playoff Board of Managers, and have really productive meetings this morning, and then made my way back to Omaha. I was here Sunday for our great win over the University of Texas Sunday evening. That was a great time. So, yeah, just shuttling back and forth between Omaha and Dallas.
Well, certainly not a bad way to spend a week. We can get to baseball in just a second, but obviously there are a lot of people that are talking about this 12-team playoff. We read your statement on the air earlier today, and I'm certainly paraphrasing, but part of it was slow down just a little bit. There's a lot of work still to be done. And so maybe we would start with, how optimistic are you that we get to the finish line on this 12-team playoff that has been put together painstakingly over the last couple of years from Commissioner Sankey, Commissioner Bowlesby, Commissioner Thompson, and Jack Swarbrick from Notre Dame?
Well, look, today was my first time to have the formal briefing. I've seen it, the proposal in writing, like many of you. But to have an opportunity to visit with the working group, to really see how they went about making their decisions, and it was fascinating, and a lot went into it. And I was just so appreciative of how in-depth they were in making their decisions on what would be a good potential possible fit for our future in determining our national champion. 2 years ago, I'm glad you talked about that. We started this process 2 years ago within the board, and we asked the management committee to look at this, look at opportunities. And the reason we wanted to look at possibly expanding beyond just the 4-team playoff was, what can we do to allow more student-athlete participation in the playoff? I'm out here now at the College World Series. We've got 8 teams playing in just this tournament. And then you had all the super regional and then the regionals. A lot of student athletes who had a chance to pursue their dream of winning a national championship. And so we tasked our management committee, and they formed this working group, and they have done a great job. And COVID obviously impacted the timing on this, because it's been 2 years. Well, everything's probably pretty much been put on hold for the past over a year, and this was part of that getting impacted. So we're just now getting back and looking, and the timing is good. We just finished up our 7th year of a 12-year contract under our current college football playoff format. So it's good to do kind of a mid-term review, assess where we are, let's think about where we want to go for the future, and then let's talk about how we can get there. And that's what we did today. We had a wonderful dialogue, great questions, a lot of issues were raised, and one of the things that I think we all realized is, if this is the direction we think we may want to go, we now need to determine what are all the legal ramifications. We have our bowl contractual agreements with our 6 playoff bowls. We have a contract with ESPN, which is our media provider. We have other binding contracts that are in place that if we try to change things before the end of the 12th year, what are all those legal entanglements we've got to work out? So now we've tasked the management committee over the course of this summer to do an even deeper dive, and now come back to the board and show us what it is, if we want to make some changes between now and year 12, what are the challenges that we've got to deal with? Or is it better for us to just continue this course of action, take all of this good work, and lay this kind of as a foundation for where we may can go beyond year 12? We just don't have all the facts and all the information, and we certainly didn't have it today to make that determination. So our plan is to spend the summer, let the management committee work on this more, and then report back to the board on September the 28th, and that's our next scheduled in-person meeting. We'll do, like I said, an even deeper dive on, and maybe try to make some decisions or determine we just don't know yet. And
Sure.
I hate to say it that way because we don't have all the facts before us, and it's a bit frustrating.
I'm editorializing here, so but I guess that's part of what we do. It seems like it would be advantageous for those partners that you mentioned to be cooperative and to work with you, just kind of going forward. I will say this, and this is something that we've talked about the last couple of days, and I guess there's a question in here. We were trying to kind of think about major things that have happened in college athletics in recent years, and I can't think of anything that seems to be as universally accepted, kind of across the board, as this idea has been in recent years with anything this major. Does what I'm saying make sense?
Well, it does, and I made a statement today in a press conference that a lot of people on the outside who want to see more playoff games, they say, "Oh, y'all just play 2 more games. That's no big deal." Well, it's a huge deal.
Yeah.
And so, again, just the legalities of trying to change the current format is going to be a major task. You want to hope that all of our partners can work with us, but still there are a lot of legal nuances that we've got to work through. But then, keep in mind, we've got to address the schedule when we do these games. And so it's going to push back the end of our season to get to that championship. And on top of all of this, you've got the NFL, and they just have announced, of course, this coming season, they're going to have 17 regular season games, and their playoffs are being pushed back over into January. And so if you think about it, some of the venues where we're playing our playoffs are in NFL stadiums. And so working through the NFL schedule, when would be appropriate dates, when could we play? And so we want to take time to hear from student athletes themselves all across the country, our football players. We want to hear from them. We want to hear from, obviously, the coaches, the athletic directors. I want to hear from the faculty athletic representatives that we have on each of our campuses on the academic well-being of our students as we go down this path, and give them a chance to have a voice, and other presidents and chancellors that aren't sitting in that room with us, whose student athletes are going to be impacted by decisions that we make. So we want to give a really good opportunity to get as much feedback from all of these stakeholder interest groups that are out there. Let the lawyers work through all the legalities. Get with our media provider, ESPN, and look at all the issues that have to be worked out in that regard. Of course, we have to consult with the NFL, and it's just a lot that has to be done. All we asked this committee to do, this working group, the management committee, was to bring us a format that they think, if there's a change, would be the best format that would enable us to put greater emphasis on conference champions, but also provide a pathway for at-large teams that aren't necessarily a conference champion, but have a great season, and give those student athletes a chance to play for the national championship, to get in the playoffs. And I think they've done a marvelous job. I mean, there's no way I could have come up with this proposal, but it just shows they put a lot into it, a lot of work now, and they didn't focus on all the legal issues and all the things I'm talking about.
So that's going to happen now.
Next phase is through this summer. And then hopefully we'll have, like I said, we'll have the information, a lot better information, to make a more informed decision about what direction, and then the timing. If we want to go down this path, when do we want to do it? And there may be legal issues that help drive that decision, but I just don't know of right now. But we don't know yet. and we're going to work through this process. And I'm thrilled and excited to be part of it. I'm honored to be part of it.
And you're certainly doing a good job leading that group as well. I think the answer from college football fans largely would be the sooner the better. Dr. Keenum, know it's been a busy day. Huge night coming up. All the best to Mississippi State baseball. Hope you enjoy it at TD Ameritrade, and we look forward, as always, to visiting with you again soon.
Well, thank you, Richard. I appreciate it. And